Welcome, my political friends of the interwebs, and welcome to an edition of Bench Talk. I'm going to be cleaning my snub-nosed 38 Special. Some of you remember this gun. It's a Taurus. It's an awesome gun. Really love this gun. And if you don't have a revolver in your life, may I suggest you get one. Now, I'm going to be, and most of you know, I'm using up my hops and my rem oil, because I was always taught don't waste not, want not. Though I truly do believe now that these are inferior products. Products that are more desirable for cleaning guns as your Balstall and your Militech. So, okay. All right, but I'm going to be using up. I don't have a whole lot of this hops left. I do have almost a whole container of the Hops Elite, but it is what it is. So anyway, we're going to be cleaning this 38 revolver and talking a little politics. Today's subject is going to be kind of difficult. I have a great aunt, or some people will pronounce it as aunt, but she is my grandmother's sister. My grandmother passed away when I was actually fairly young. I guess maybe I was about 13, I think, when my grandmother passed away. But Aunt Blanche is a trooper. She's 92, I believe. Either 92 or 93, but I think it's 92. She is the longest living relative that I've ever known on my mother's side of the family. That's for sure. Anyway, I guess a little over a year ago, I got a call that she had fallen. She, by the way, lived on her own up until a little over a year ago. But I got a call that she had taken a pretty nasty spill. And she lived about an hour and a half away from me. So I didn't get up to see her very often. In fact, I think it probably, to be honest with you, it'd probably been close to a year that I hadn't seen her. And, I think I might use this Hops Elite just to give it a spray on the outside. Anyway, I hadn't probably seen her in a year. I was actually in Kentucky when I got that call that she had fallen. And so I came home and went up to visit her, and she was a mess. She never had any of her own children. So I kind of had to step up to the plate and take responsibility for her. My mother's elderly and not in the best of shape herself, and really nobody else, to be honest with you, wanted the responsibility. So I kind of, somebody had to step up, so I did, and I became her power of attorney. And she had developed at some point a dementia, really really bad dementia, and she was really no longer capable of living on her own. And it was really tragic. It was a tragic situation because she was always so independent in her entire life. But when I walked into her apartment for the first time, I realized that she just really was not capable of taking care of herself. I mean, the place hadn't been cleaned. She never kept a dirty apartment, but the place hadn't been cleaned in I don't know how long, probably at least 6 months, maybe longer. And she, it was quite clear that her mind wasn't hers anymore. And, when I tried to speak to her, it became even more clear. She knew who I was, surprisingly, and seemed genuinely happy to see me. She wasn't sure where she was or what had happened to her, but, at 90-some years old, when you fall and crack your head on the cement, that happens. But anyway, I had to get her into a nursing home. And I had to get her into one. Originally, I was actually going to move her into my house. I actually went out and I bought a hospital bed and a lot of other things to make that happen. But she didn't. She got comfortable where she was at in the nursing home I'd put her into, and she didn't want to leave. And that's part of the dementia. And maybe part of it was she didn't want to be a burden on me. I really don't know. I would have been happy to have her, though, to be honest with you. I don't have any of my own children, so I hope that maybe one of my nieces or my nephew will take pity on me when I'm old, if I make it to be an old man. So anyway, I had to call hospice, was it yesterday or the day before yesterday. She had broken her hip about, 2 weeks ago. Once again, I was down in Kentucky. I get a phone call that Aunt Blanche had fallen. And she broke her hip, and it was going downhill pretty quickly. But a couple of days ago, it had been established that she hadn't been eating. She hadn't eaten like 7 days, not a bite. And she was done. I don't know any other way to put it. She was done. So I had to contact hospice. And I don't know how many of you have experience with hospice, but you literally are asked to sign somebody's life away. And I don't mean figuratively. I mean you're signing a lot of documents that, interpreted any way you want to interpret them, is you're ending their life. It's not the easiest thing in the world to do, but I felt it was necessary. I mean, I really did. I asked them that she just no longer be in any pain. She was in a tremendous amount of pain. They had fixed the fracture in her hip, but she was, at that point, she wasn't capable of taking any oral pain medication, and it was just a mess. The whole thing was a mess. And she had lost her mind. And I would ask her if she was in pain, and she would say she was, and I just, I couldn't take that anymore. So, I don't know. I mean, so anyway, I contacted hospice, and hospice is a, and by the way, if this runs over the 10 minutes on the Voodoo Politics channel, I will put this up on my MadBadVoodo channel, because I don't want to feel rushed for time. Hospice, their main gig in life is to usher the patient or your loved one, let's put it that way, usher your loved one into the next stage of their existence, whatever that may be. And they asked me what I expected from them, and I said, I expect you to make sure she's pain-free. I said, that's really what it comes down to. I want her to be pain-free. No matter what. Whatever it takes to make her pain-free. And they said to me, well, we're giving her, liquid morphine and liquid Ativan, and she should be pretty comfortable. I said, let me tell you something. If I was in that bed, in that condition, I would want to be as high as a kite, period. So whatever you've got to do to make that happen, then make that happen. And they said, well, it's a fine line. If we give her too much morphine, she'll be incoherent. I said, listen, Aunt Blanche has dementia. It's not like she and I are going to have any great long conversations, talking about life and family and love and all that stuff. I mean, that day had passed. I said, I just don't want her to feel any pain. And so they assured me that she wouldn't, which is great. But I guess the question, and really the whole purpose of me even making this video, is I'd love to know what your thoughts are on end of life. Do you believe, listen, I guess the big question that I want to know is, do you believe a person has the right to an assisted suicide situation? Because, I'll tell you right now, assisted suicide is illegal in most of the country. Most of the United States, it's illegal. But from what I can tell, although hospice isn't killing her, they are, how can I put it, aiding in her death. And I know that it's a fine line, and I appreciate what they're doing. But don't you think people should have the right to go ahead and end their lives with some dignity? I think that if I was diagnosed with a terminal illness, especially anything revolving around Alzheimer's or dementia, I would want to go ahead and remove myself from the situation ASAP. Before I became in that situation. I don't know. That's just me. I guess what it comes down to in a nutshell is I believe that the assisted suicide should be legal. Absolutely legal. I'd like to know in the comment section, please tell me how you feel about that. It's not easy watching somebody die a slow death. It's really not. It's very difficult, in fact. So I'm in the camp of thumbs up to assisted suicide. If you can, just let me know what you think about that. I'll probably be doing more videos on this. I don't know how long I'm at. I'm going to go ahead and end this now, but I'm sure I'll do more videos on this as time goes on.